Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. I just rented a dozer for the first time ever. I was using it on my property to develop it. I'll do another video later on what I did to help develop my campground into more usable space. But here's a couple observations about renting a dozer and using it for the first time, things that I learned. First thing I want to talk about is fueling it up. I have 20 gallons of diesel cans, 4 or 5 gallon diesel cans, and I have a mini excavator, John Deere 35G, and I'll use, on a heavy use day, I'll use 10 gallons. So it's no big deal only having that. This machine, which is significantly larger, can burn through 30 gallons a day. So having 5-gallon gas tanks or diesel tanks and trying to fill this thing up is a pain in the rear. I looked for in-bed fuel tank or different things, but I figured since I'm only going to have this for a week that that wasn't worth it. But I'll tell you what, every day going down and filling up the diesel cans, and then how long it takes to fill up 5-gallon cans and then to go and put them into the machine, what a pain in the rear. Another thing I'll say about the fuel cans, the ones that I'll have the government regulated nozzles or whatever so you don't drip, they make more of a mess than anything else. I always end up taking it off and putting a funnel in and pouring them. The gas cans or the fuel cans that you can get that say not for fuel, but you have a nozzle on here, a pipe on here and a vent here, they pour out so much faster and so much less drip. I don't know why they're not rated for fuel use, but I'll tell you what, I have this for regular gas and I have this for diesel. This is the can that I prefer by far. Here's the other thing about fueling up this dozer. Here, 6.5 feet high is where you put the fuel in. And so obviously it'd be better if you had a slip tank and then, a nozzle and you could just hose and just pump it in. But I'm having to climb up. I had to climb up on the rakes that are on the back and then stand up there and fill it up. So again, a lot of wasted time just trying to fuel up the machine. While I'm back here by these rakes looking at them, these things were way more valuable than I realized until about the second or third day in. I'm working in clay, not a lot of rock in it. I thought these would be used more for breaking up rocks or tearing out roots. But this hard packed clay, when I'm trying to skim or break through new layers, it got awfully rough, and I was like, okay, I don't need to go down any further. But I said, let me try these rakes. I dropped them down and just did several passes with the rakes on, broke things up, and that little bit of time that I took to do that made it so much easier. Had I learned that early on the first day I was on the machine, I would have got through this a lot faster. One of the things I absolutely loved about this new dozer was this display where they had the chassis pitch and the chassis roll. Now when I was doing logging roads or roads that had a certain grade, I had to connect point to point. I didn't really need this, but I was trying to put in a level yard in one spot. So once I picked a reference point and then I wanted it to have a very slight downhill, I kept this between 1 and 5%, and it put a nice level grade in, or looks level, feels level, but the water is going to drain off. This was really valuable to me. Funny thing is, I worked one morning, the sun was shining in here and I couldn't see it very well, and I kept putting my hand up to block the sun, and I was like, there's got to be a way. And then I finally hit the control settings and brightened up the screen, but I couldn't see the screen well enough to find the control settings. But once I did, this shone really bright, and this was very valuable to me. I've operated an excavator for countless hours, and I'm getting quite good at an excavator. I've never run a dozer before. The controls were completely different. Simply, the thumb was forward and back. This would turn me right to left as I'm driving, and what made it difficult for me is because I wasn't used to this. If I'm trying to turn left a little bit, I tended to, on this hand, also pull a little bit left, which tips the blade side to side. And so pulling this back brings the blade up. This tips the blade side to side, and then this points it forward and back. And so when I'm trying to turn left, I also tended to be left blade down, and that was not a good function. I had to learn to keep my hands working independently. Where my right foot is here, this was odd for me to have this as a decelerator. You rev the machine up, you're going forward, back, you want to slow down a little bit, push this in, and you're slowing down, and to the point you will go nowhere. This lets you go full speed, lifting it up. After doing this all day long, I was driving home and I was driving really slow because I had things backwards for a minute. Well, there's some observations on a first-time bulldozer user. Glad I did it. I learned a lot, and I did get a lot done. I'll have another video showing you the roads that I built up here and what I did to create the yard that's going to be here for my campground. Continuing to develop the campground so I can turn some profits in my retirement. Thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching including horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. Hope to see you again soon. Be blessed, everyone.